I have coached hundreds of people one-on-one from the most varied backgrounds that have the most different kind of challenges in life that you can imagine. And yet, in every single one of those cases, the number one trap, the number one barrier was always the same. It didn't matter where the problem was coming from. It didn't matter how much awareness or self-work the person had already done. As long as this trap was there, they were struggling. They were not able to take action. They were not able to create the life they wanted. And you could be making the exact same mistake, which is why you're feeling, I'm doing everything, but somehow things are just not working out. You're a hard worker. You're taking the action. You're doing things you know you should do, and yet you are stuck. This video will give you the answer. This video will help you understand exactly where the problem might be. And the best news is, the moment you break free from just this one trap, a lot of your life will stop seeming so complicated and you will be able to take all the right actions to get to your goals much faster than ever before. Today, I want to share that with you, but I want to be clear. I'm not going to be sugarcoating this video. I'm not going to be saying nice things just so you don't feel hurt or you don't feel called out, because the truth about change and the truth about growth is sometimes there are hard truths we need to face, and this conversation that we're going to have is one of those. So if you are ready for that real transformation, and if you are ready to ensure that your success happens in this year and in every single year that follows, then keep watching, because the breakthrough you're going to have here is next level. I'm excited to give you that. So let's get started. In 8th grade chemistry, I learned about a beautiful concept called catalysts. I know we were just talking about the biggest trap in our lives, and you're suddenly wondering, where the hell is he talking about chemistry now? But stick with me for a bit, because this will make sense to you. This will help you understand exactly what the trap is. Because here's what I believe. The way the world works is the way our lives work. And when we understand science, when we understand maths, when we understand how all these different areas of study interact, they tell us a lot about our lives, things that are much, much deeper and important than just a be happy everyday positive quote. So what we're going to have a conversation on is real scientific stuff, not just something that's going to make you feel positive for now, only for you to go back into the same problems again and again. So the catalyst. The role of a catalyst in any reaction, any chemical reaction, is a beautiful one. It speeds up the reaction without changing the reaction at all. So all it is doing is, it is adding fuel to the fire. It is making sure that whatever reaction is happening, it's happening at, let's say, 10x faster, 20x faster, even 100x faster rate. But in that, the catalyst itself is not changing the reaction. The catalyst is just there to speed it up. Now, in our lives, there are multiple catalysts that either speed up our emotional reactions or they slow down our emotional reactions. It goes both ways. But a lot of times what happens is, anything and any event that happens in our life, if it's a big one, it usually speeds up our emotional response. It increases the intensity of it. And the way we feel after that, that is often very heavy or very joyous or very powerful or very helpful, we can say, depending on the kind of event that is. So let me first clarify the 3 variables that we are working with here. That will then help you understand the trap that I'm talking about. So the very first variable is the catalyst. And in our life, there are only 2 kinds of catalyst. The first kind of catalyst is a crisis or an emergency situation where a lot of things are going negative around you, where it's like I don't know what will happen. I really need to get this sorted out. I'm in a really bad state of my life. That kind of situation. All of us go through that at some level or the other. Maybe right now you're going through it in one area of your life. That could be your relationships, or you're facing a crisis or an emergency in your career. Whatever it is, that event right there is a catalyst. And there's a second kind of catalyst there, and that's an achievement or a success or a big positive event. Got this much? So the catalyst of any reaction, any emotional reaction of our lives is the event that happens positive or negative. Now, what's the reaction that this event triggers that ultimately affects the way we feel, affects the way we act, and leads us into the trap that I'm talking about. That reaction is the emotions that we go through. So understand this now. This is the most important step. We believe the events that happen in our lives are what make us feel the emotions we have. No, the events that happen in our life are only the catalyst. The raw material for the reaction inside our head is already there, is already present, because we know how to feel fear and worry and anxiety and stress and overwhelm and all the other negative emotions that we go through. The catalyst on the outside only speeds up that reaction of those negative emotions. Just like that, there are some people who have a raw ingredient of positive, empowering emotions. So even when the catalyst on the back end is a negative catalyst or a negative event or a crisis or an emergency, their negativity doesn't go high. Their positivity and sense of empowerment and ability to take action, that goes high. Why? Because the catalyst only multiplied and accelerated the speed of the emotional reaction that was pre-existing inside. Now, this understanding of emotions is quite different from what we are used to. But if you think about it, this is the practical one, because all our lives, we could spend our time blaming and saying that all these people are the reason I feel negative about myself. All these situations in my life are to blame for why I feel so unworthy and why I doubt myself so much. But my friend, listen to me. Are there people who are in a much worse situation than you are and yet they don't doubt themselves? If it was just the catalyst or the event that was making us feel things, we would have understood and we would have figured out that, okay, yeah, this event is the reason I'm feeling this. Otherwise, we would not have felt those negative emotions. But how many people do you know who achieve something big and then they start doubting themselves? What if this all goes away? What if I don't deserve it? What if I've worked so hard for this and tomorrow I find out that this is not real? Or what if a challenge comes tomorrow and takes all of this away? And all these thoughts trigger insecurity in them. They've just achieved something big. A big catalytic event has happened in their life, but because the raw material for the reaction is insecurity and other negative emotions, guess what is getting amplified? Insecurity and other negative emotions. At the same time, there are people who have a crisis or an emergency catalyst. Maybe they've run out of money. Maybe they're on the road. Maybe they're homeless. Maybe they just got kicked out of their job. Maybe they just had to shut down their business and they are like, what do I do now? Or maybe they just had the worst breakup of their life and a very big crisis event has happened. And here they're like, oh yeah, it's bad. I'm feeling a bit worried, but I know I'll figure it out. I know I'll make it happen. I have that faith in myself. There are people like this. Haven't you seen them? Well, what's the difference? Logically, if the event were making us feel something, then everybody going through a crisis should have felt negative, and everybody who achieved something should have felt ultimate fulfillment, ultimate satisfaction, ultimate positivity. But you and I both know the world is not like that. The world does not function like that. I've seen people for whom their birthday is the most emotional and sad and crying day of their life. Why? Oh, I'm getting older. I have not really figured out my life yet. I'm losing out on so much. All these thoughts overwhelm them on their birthday, the day that's a celebration day. So even though there are people around them, even though they're having a party, inside they're feeling lonely and cut off and disconnected and insecure. Not because it's their birthday, but because that's the only raw material they have for an emotional reaction. The moment a catalyst event like a birthday or an achievement or a celebration comes in, what does the catalyst speed up? This reaction, that's the negative reaction. So first, I want you to understand this very, very crucial distinction between what's actually causing your suffering and what's not. You can spend your life blaming the events and the circumstances and the people and the situations, but the truth is you are in charge of how you react to those crises and people and circumstances and situations. They do not affect you. You affect you, because you are the one who's deciding the emotions. You are the one who's choosing which emotions to practice and live in out of habit. Here's where people fall into the trap. The trap of self-deception. This one thing is the reason 90% of people stay stuck. When I have this conversation with people, right, this is the point where they are the most resistant because they have only one question to ask me. They say, Prabhsimrat, that's fine, but if I were the one who was causing all of this, why would I ever choose negative for myself? Why would I ever choose to sabotage my own success? I don't want to do that. I want to succeed. But here's the thing. The moment you ask that question, look what you've done again. You've deflected responsibility for your emotions and for your feelings from yourself back to the catalyst, back to the situation. And in your mind, this justification will work. But this justification is only self-deception because your deception does not change reality. You see, we like to feel good about ourselves. We like to feel that, oh, me, I'm a saint. Everybody else is a Satan in this world, but I am a saint. I do everything right. If we are on the road and there's a driver who's very slow and we honk, oh, I'm right. I should honk at them because they're going very slow. But at the same time, someone else passes us by on the road and we're like, what a jerk. Can't he see that I'm following the speed limit? You see, situations are different. But in both situations, we are the saint. The other person, they are the jerk. They are the Satan. They are the person who's not doing the right thing. So it takes a lot of courage inside to face up and own up to the fact that yes, I was wrong. I made the choice of feeling the negative emotions, maybe out of habit, maybe out of circumstance. I don't care out of what. But because I made that choice, I'm accepting it. I'm okay with it. I'm going to learn from it and I'm going to grow from it. Because you can have deception for yourself all you want. And as a coach, as a trainer, nobody in the world can change that for you, not even me. Even after watching this video, if you say, Prabhsimrat, you are wrong. My life is truly messed up because of my circumstances. All I'm going to say is, okay, continue living your messed up life. Continue living in the same challenges. Continue living in the same problems. I don't have a problem with the choice you're making, but at least be honest about the choice you're making and recognize that it is a choice. Don't act helpless just because you feel that you are helpless. Just because it is comfortable to feel helpless. Just because it is easy to blame others. Yes, it is. Yes, I know that's the option most of us reach out for. But let me ask you this. Do you want to continue living a life of blame and justification and all these different problems? Or do you want freedom? The freedom to be who you are, the freedom to create the life you want, the freedom to achieve the abundance that you dream of, the freedom to one day be able to look back at your life and say, yes, I made it. I made it happen. I was the one who really put in the effort and I'm so happy with the success I've created. Who do you want to be? Well, if you want to be the second person, the one who succeeds, the one who takes action, the one who makes things happen, well then stop this trap right now. Understand the cycle of emotions that I've just explained to you and how you are actually the one who's responsible for the way you feel, not your circumstances, not your situations, because they are just catalysts. They can only trigger the emotional reaction that you have and avoid falling into the trap of self-deception. Now I know this is uncomfortable. I know this is not always the easiest truth to digest, but I'm not here to give you the easy truths. I'm here to show you the mirror that yes, we do decept ourselves, we do lie to ourselves, we do create this comfortable cocoon where we don't want to accept the fact that the mediocrity I'm living through is a choice that I'm making. But my question is, there's nothing wrong with that choice. Nothing wrong. If you want to live that, live that. But can you be honest with yourself about the choice that you're making? Can you hold that conversation? Can you look into your eyes in the mirror and see that yes, I am the most honest person, and not even with others, but with myself. The day you have that confidence, the day you feel that strength in your own eyes when you look into the mirror, lean in closer for what I'm about to say. You will have accessed the most potent, the most powerful source of power in the entire world, and that's alignment with the inner you. But that cannot happen until and unless you stop falling into this trap of self-deception. As long as you keep saying, no, I'm not responsible for the way I feel, other people are, you're going to continue living the same life. It may not be the life you want, but I'm pretty sure it's comfortable wherever it is. But if you have big dreams and if you want to achieve big success and you want to create magical results in your life, just do these two things for this week. One, recognize all the catalysts in your life and understand what your emotional reaction is that they are speeding up. And the moment you differentiate the event from the emotion, you will see for yourself how much you are creating the emotion, the event is not. And when you see that truth, instead of justifying your emotion, instead of justifying why it is right for you to feel angry, can you just hold that conversation and say to yourself, yeah, I just have a habit of feeling angry and I'm going to work on it. The moment you say that, you change your destiny, you change your life. The question is, can you avoid the trap of self-deception and can you embrace the freedom of responsibility, the freedom of self-honesty? It's not the easiest step, but it is the step that will lead you closest to your dreams. What choice to make? I leave that up to you. Share it in the comments. I'd be happy to know and I'd be happy to help you further with this journey. Thank you so much for watching this video. My aim is to continuously help you unlock your next breakthrough. So I may have said a few things that you could have come across as rude. I'm sorry if you felt that way, but I believe that I just had to share this with you. So I know this was a bit uncomfortable, but I'm okay with that. I hope you were okay with it too. And I'll see you next week once again to help you unlock the next breakthrough. And remember, Monday to Friday at 8:30 p.m. India Standard Time, we are doing live sessions that are not recorded like this, but live, where I'm live with you on YouTube at the same time. So I'll see you there on Monday as well. Take care. Bye-bye.